Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the program. I'm your host, as always, Jeff. You may know me as other names, but we're going to go with Jeff today. No chyrons, as they're called in the business. That's a business term. That's the little splash thing you put up on the screen. Normally, I point to my shoulder, and usually hopefully I get it right. But normally, it's got my Twitter handle and other stuff. I'll be adding that stuff later, or just to be in the description. But today, I'm going to talk about a topic. It's about the Bitcoin halving, and I'm just trying to keep these videos as simple as possible because feedback that I'm hearing is that there's lots of different people at different stages of their crypto journey, and I understand that. But for the most part, a lot of people are just coming into the space. So the big news that's happening in this space, and there's not a lot of news going on right now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But the big news that now that we've clicked over, the calendar is flipped over to April, this is halving month. Now, what is the halving? I have to explain that, and I'm going to get into like how much you need to know about Bitcoin and the technicals and stuff. I want to do that in a different video, but I'm going to keep this as really simple as possible, okay? I'm going to explain the halving in under 10 minutes, and hopefully you can get this, and you can leave a comment down below, and like, subscribe. I'm going to tell you about a newsletter as well that's coming. But before I do all that, please like, share, subscribe, tell someone about this video, help us expand this channel. Help us get this news out there, because the whole point of me talking to my camera like this and talking to you guys is try to explain things so that you can understand why Bitcoin is important and what you need to know and what you don't need to know. So what you need to know about the Bitcoin halving. So again, like, share, subscribe really helps out the channel. Leave a comment down below too. Either way, whether you like it, just put hashtag halving, hashtag Bitcoin, whatever it is. Comments help the video. Thumbs up help the video. Sharing helps the channel. Anyway, jumping into it. Okay, Bitcoin halving. All right. Then we explain it in an analogy that will hopefully make sense to you. So let's go with a childhood elementary school game. All right. Most of you have played musical chairs. Okay. So musical chairs, the idea is that the teacher, whoever's in charge, sets up some chairs in a circle. You're walking, in the middle of a circle. And you're walking around the circle. All the students walk around the circle. And then when the music stops, you have to jump into a chair. Now, let's just say that there's 60 students in the class. It's a big class. Let's say it's gym class, okay? There's 60 students in there, and there's 50 chairs, okay? First round of the game, play some music. Everybody jumps into a chair, 50 chairs, 10 are eliminated. Okay, fine. Well, then the game proceeds for a while. Let's just say it's 4 hours instead of 4 years. This is like 4 hours with 50 students all playing. The number of chairs don't change, okay? After a while, people get bored with it. They get accustomed to it. You're always, whenever the music stops, say every 10 minutes or you do the math. But every so often the music stops. 50 students, 50 chairs, everybody jumps in, and there's no supply demand inequality here. Everybody, like, there's 1-to-1, okay? So people kind of get bored with it. So after, let's just say they've been playing for 40 minutes, okay? Now after another 40 minutes, the teacher says, all right, we're going to up the ante here. Now, we're going to take away the chairs. But the chairs are now worth twice as much. In other words, like, first off, you get like a free milk or you get something as a reward if you get in the chair. Okay, you get extra credit. You get extra credit if you get into the chair and you play for 40 minutes, and like that's like a class period. You jump in the chair for 50 students, 50 chairs, kind of boring. Okay, now after 40 minutes, the teacher takes away half of the chairs. Now there's only 25 chairs, but you get twice as much. You get double extra credit if you get in the chair. At first, there's like the first game, there's a complete, it's a free-for-all to jump in those chairs. 25 are eliminated, 25 jump in the chairs, and then the game proceeds just like that for another 40 minutes. And then it gets cut down to 12 seats, and then to 6, and then to 3. Okay? Now, that's what the Bitcoin halving is like. The chairs are the supply of Bitcoin. The rewards, the extra credit for the students, that is the rewards of Bitcoin. And the supply, it creates a crunch. Now, to explain it another way, just like, say you're going to the grocery store, okay? So hopefully you got the musical chair part. That explains, like, this, people get used to it. They get accustomed to that being a certain amount of supply, the chairs. For a long time, they get bored with the game, and all of a sudden, there's a dynamic change. It gets cut in half. So that is a shock to the system right away, and then things kind of calm down. That's what the halving is going to be like in a few weeks when Bitcoin, the rewards get cut in half. To explain it another way, say you run, you're a small business, right? And you don't have, you're not big enough to have restaurant supply stores or like trucks coming to the supply. Say you run a bakery and you're just starting. It's a startup bakery. It's not even, you're running out of your own kitchen. You're not like you're making pastries and you sell them, but you don't have a storefront yet. You're doing something. Maybe you have online web store, whatever, bake sales, that sort of thing. Okay, but your supplies is the grocery store. Now, you go to the grocery store, and that's where you get your milk, your eggs, your flour, your sugar, all that stuff that you need to bake. Now, you would probably be one of the first to notice if the prices went up or if the supply of those ingredients started to change. Now, you may not buy a lot of, like if you're an individual going to whatever your local grocery store is, you buy a dozen eggs maybe once a week, you may not notice too much of a crunch. You may notice sometimes there might be some limits in supply, but it doesn't hugely affect you. It may affect like your decisions that day, or you may have to wait a day because the stock is out. Like we've all been there right before a holiday, and there's not a lot of options. You have to go to your second or third choice, but it's not like they're out. It's not like a hurricane's coming and everybody's stocking up on toilet paper. It's not that kind of supply crunch. Although we've had those issues in the past. Everybody's seen that before. But for those of you that run businesses and you have to get those supplies and you have limited resources on how to get them, you'll notice this supply crunch. And you'll be one of the first that people are impacted. Like if you see that there's half as many eggs available and it's double in price, that affects your bottom line, affects your business. You'll feel that immediately. Now, if that's like one of your key ingredients, now if you're a baker, obviously I have a bunch of ingredients, but if you're a Bitcoin miner and you see that the cost of operation doubles, so your supply gets cut in half and it costs twice as much, that supply shock is going to impact you first more than it's going to impact the average customer. So if you're just buying a dozen eggs now and then, it's not going to impact you as much as if you're buying 10 dozen eggs every 3 days. Right, that's a bigger deal. This is what it's like for Bitcoin miners, where you are going to feel this crunch when the supply gets cut in half. Yes, it costs more, and yes, that the rewards are more, but that supply, like the fact that your income is going to be cut in half because the Bitcoin rewards are going to be cut in half. That's a major impact. That's like if you run a business and half your customers go away. Now, your other customers may pay twice as much, which is great, but, overnight, you can't raise your prices double. It just doesn't, it's not feasible. It'll slowly go up and maybe it'll just smooth itself out. But the way it works with Bitcoin is that every 4 years, the price tends to go up. Okay, that's why when you invest in Bitcoin, no one has ever lost money for any 4-year period. And the reason that is that the supply shock has a ripple effect onto the economies of scale with mining and what the price is to break even. If you're a miner, it used to be like 12,000, now it's going to be 25,000, now it could be 50,000. And that's why Bitcoin above 50,000. Now we're at a point where we're at 70,000 right now, and that's where it's fluctuating, give or take. People are getting accustomed to that number, and that's a good thing for miners because they're in the green. Like they're making Bitcoin, they're cash flow positive. They've been racking up a ton of profits pre-halving. But post-halving, the profits are going to be cut significantly because the average cost of operations to generate one Bitcoin is not going to be 25,000 anymore, it'll be 50,000. So that spread is going to be shrunk a lot. Now they have to spend more to get more miners and get the newer miners and get them more efficient for running their operation, but that's behind the scenes. What you care about is that the supply shock matters. Supply shock affects people that are closer to that lifeblood of that income. It affects them more. But that's where the halving, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of change when we get to April 20th, give or take a day, as we're getting closer to the halving. You're not going to see the price spike or go down very much that day. It's going to be pretty much a non-event, and you're like, what's the big deal? The big deal is not to you, it's to the miners because they're worried about their bottom line, and now the cost of operations have doubled because their income has been cut in half. So that's basically what the halving is about. It's kind of explain it with grocery supplies, or if you're a baker, or if you're playing musical chairs. Hopefully those analogies helped you out. If you have questions, leave them down below. Again, the purpose of this channel is to educate. I'm here to help. There's going to be a newsletter. I was going to mention that earlier. I don't have the email link yet, but I'm going to put that as soon as I have the description from Dylan and what email we're going to use to sign up for it. I'm going to put that out there. Hopefully I have that by the time I release this video. If not, it'll be in the next video. But coming very soon is going to be a free newsletter that's coming out to you guys from Economic Preppers that's going to cover a whole bunch of different things. We cover Bitcoin, cover prepping things, cover a host of different topics. And of course, you can always suggest ideas or even suggest things that we cover. But we're going to put that out there, and that's going to be completely free to you guys, and we hope you sign up for it. And hopefully you got some value out of this video. So with all that said, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.